Hey, good morning yet again. Here we go. Yet again, another video. Today's notes, though, is actually pretty short and it's almost like a review of what we did yesterday in a way. So, more factoring. Okay? We're going to look at some cubic equations. So, occasionally you might get some problems where you have what we call a cubic equation. All it is, cubic, the word cubic means just simply degree 3. So a polynomial whose highest degree is a degree 3. So like this example, notice how the highest degree here, 3x cubed plus 15x squared plus 7x plus 35. Highest degree is 3. Now, some of our problems have had what we call a double root. It's when we get two factors that are exactly the same. So for instance, if I factor something and I get x minus 3 times x minus 3, you can actually rewrite that as x minus 3 quantity squared. I haven't been doing that in the notes, but you know what? If that comes up in an example today, I'll demonstrate that for you. You don't have to, you can leave it as such, but just remember that these two expressions are the same. All right, so factoring by grouping. Here's the crazy thing. You guys were doing this, and we were doing this actually yesterday. Remember how we would take just a basic polynomial or a trinomial, something like when I had something like 3x squared plus 8x plus 5, and I look at factors of 15 that add up to 8, and I create 4 terms. Basically, if you look at all these problems, they're already written as 4 terms. So what's nice is you can go ahead and start the grouping process. So it's kind of like the second half of what we were doing yesterday. So group the first 2 terms together. Factor out what they have in common. They have x squared in common. We're left with x plus 4. Do the same thing with the last terms. Negative 7x minus 28. They have a minus 7 in common. Always factor out that negative. You're left with x plus 4. When you do this right, these two should be exactly the same. If they're not, check your math. So now combine the outsides as your first set of factors, x squared minus 7, sets of x plus 4. Now here's the beautiful thing. If you FOIL this out, you better get this. And watch. X squared times x, x cubed. X squared times 4, 4x squared. Negative 7 times x, minus 7x. Negative 7 times 4, minus 28. Like I said, today's lesson, probably going to go quick. Let's do a few more examples with you, though. Let's group these two together. So they have nope, they don't share 2, Mr. Bartz. They just share an x. So I'm left with 2x plus x. Oh, they share more than just an x, Mr. Bartz. Oh, I'm glad he caught that. They share a x squared. So now I'm left with 2x plus 1. Oh my goodness, Mr. Bartz, almost made a mistake. All right, do the next ones. 12 and 6, they share a 6. Left with 2x plus 1. Hey, they're exactly the same. So I have x plus 6 sets of 2x plus 1s. I can actually FOIL this out. X squared times 2x, 2x cubed. X squared times 1, x squared. 6 times 2x, 12x. 6 times 1, 6. Got it right. Woo! All right, let's take a look at number 3. All right, group the first 2 together. They share x squared, left with x plus 5s. Group the second set together. Factor out the minus. They share a minus 3. X, when I pull out that negative, it actually causes it to be positive, plus 5. Sweet, those are the same. X squared minus 3 sets of x plus 5s. Now when I look at this x squared minus 3, and I should have probably been checking this earlier, this wasn't a perfect square, wasn't a difference of perfect square, but if this is a perfect square right here, ooh, you got to factor it out farther. That one's all taken care of. Ooh, I have a sneaky feeling it might come up on this last one. All right, look at this one. They share just an x squared. I'm left with x plus, just plus 2. All right, factor out what they have in common. They have a minus 9 in common. X, the minus becomes a plus 2. Those are exactly the same. Combine the outsides. X squared minus 9 sets of x plus 2. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Difference difference of perfect squares right here. Perfect square, perfect square. So that can factor to x plus 3x minus 3. Bring down the other x plus 3. Notice how these two are the same factor. You could write this as x plus 3 quantity squared times x minus 3 if you wanted to. Okay? So you could write it as the first or the second. All right, like I said, today was a very short video for the notes. Let's go on to the CFU and practice doing these by grouping.